All right. Does everyone see Modiani?
Yeah.
Modiani lefanecha melech kayam shehechesart bi v'nishmati bechemla ba'emunatecha. Who wants to read English?
I'll go.
Bracha.
I give thanks to you, living King.
I know Diane and Shema Israel by my heart.
Very good.
That's amazing. Living King, for returning my soul to me with great compassion. Great.
God always brings our soul back. And now we're going to sing a tikva. Everyone see a tikva? All right. Kol od balevav pnima nefesh Yehudi homiya ulfatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion Oto avda tikvateinu Hatikva bat shnot alpayim להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון ירושלים. Again, להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון ירושלים. Good job, guys. Good
Can
singing.
we do it again?
Sure. Why not? One more time.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Here you guys.
Let's do it. Kol od balevav pnima nefesh Yehudi u'latei mizrach kadima ayin letzion tovia עוד לא אבדה תקוותנו.
I can't sing up. I don't even know the song.
עוד אלפיים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון ירושלים. להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון ירושלים. Hi, Benjamin.
Hi.
How you doing, buddy?
Bye.
No, you're great.
Baruch Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. We're alive. We're healthy. We're
I
All right. We're going to watch a fun video now. Are you ready?
Yes.
Well, what if we hunted for Jewish treasure? You guys see the video?
Yeah.
We were brave adventurers who traveled all around the world searching for long-lost Jewish treasures. First, we'd have to hire a pilot to fly us to our dig site.
Where to, little kid?
Our first adventure takes us to Cordoba, Spain, birthplace of the great Rabbi Moses Maimonides, or the Rambam.
You're the boss, little girl. Spain it is.
The Rambam was one of the greatest leaders in Jewish history, and he was also a brilliant doctor. We could search for his stethoscope. We would dig all day, racing the clocks before the sun sets. We'll have to use our super enhanced sonar radar hybrid treasure detector to speed up our search. I found something. It's a letter that describes how the Jews in Cordoba had to leave Spain due to religious persecution. That's right. Ezzy's grandfather, who comes from Morocco, is always so proud of the fact that the Rambam once lived there before moving to Israel and then Egypt. I found Abraham's tent, Sarah's candlesticks, and King David's crown, but no stethoscope. Then we're off to Egypt. Hey, Tina, I just got an anonymous tip. My grandfather just told me that the Rambam was the official physician of the royal family in Cairo. Try exploring the palace grounds. Still nothing.
Hey, kid, there's a sandstorm coming in. We'll have to set out pretty soon.
Wait, I have an idea. The Rambam wasn't just a doctor in addition to being a rabbi. He actually used his knowledge of science and medicine in his Jewish writings and teachings. Maybe we should look for his stethoscope in an old synagogue. Great idea, Dina.
Come on, whippersnappers. We'll have to head out now to stay ahead of the storm.
We have some original handwritten manuscripts of the Rambam's Mishnah Torah, but no stethoscope.
All right, kid, I gotta fly right now, with or without you.
We have When we got home, we would hang the stethoscope on the wall, so it would always remind us of how our talents are part of who we are as Jews. And to remind us of how awesome it is to fly around the world in an old airplane looking for treasure. Yeah, that too.
Alright.
So that was the Rambam. Can you say that?
Yeah.
When I hear you guys. Rambam, Rabbi Moshe, then Maimon. He lived in 1100.
Yes.
He was a very famous rabbi. He went to Morocco and Egypt, and he's buried in Tiberias in Israel. And a lot of the halachot we know from the Rambam, like what to do, all the different laws we learn from his very, very special book called the Mishnah Torah.
The importance of Torah. Okay, now we're gonna do something called the importance of Torah. This is one of those comics.
For Jacob, who loves comics.
The importance of Torah. I didn't expect to be here, Isaac, in the yeshiva's library after a day of school. Me neither, Yaakov, but the teacher assigned us to get the Aleph Beit book.
Wait, how do you put it right there?
I know it's important for us to learn Torah, but why do we have to teach the little kids Aleph Beit? Because that's what he told us to do, Yaakov. Oops, I dropped the book. Funny, I never noticed this book before. Look, Yaakov, it fell open to a story of Rabbi Chia, who lived almost 2,000 years ago. It was during a time when the Jewish people were persecuted and threatened with extinction. They wanted to kill us. A great scholar, Rabbi Chia, left his studies. He left his studies. Why? On a mission whose purpose no one could understand. First, he planted a field with flax, while everyone wondered why a learned man like Rabbi Chia would choose to become a farmer. Then he wove rope netting from the flax, with which he trapped deer. With the skin of the deer, he made parchment. That's how we could write the Torah, with the skin of animals, and gave the meat to the poor and the hungry. He didn't just waste the meat. He gave the meat to people, but he used the skin to write Torah books. Took him many months to write the Torah's 5 books on the
Is
parchment.
this real?
Yes, this is real. And those he carried to the most remote village he could find, farthest village he could find. There he sat, 5 young children, and taught each one book of the Torah until they knew them perfectly. They knew them by heart, so they could teach others. And Matthew's cousins are here. Ryan, Olivia. Hi, guys. We're telling a story about this rabbi who basically, it was at a time when the Romans were persecuting the Jews, and he wanted to teach the kids Torah. So what he did was he planted a field with flax, and then from the flax he made rope, and then he caught deer, he trapped a deer, and then he used the skin of the deer to make parchment to write Torahs, and he gave the meat to people that are poor. And then he wrote 5 books of the Torah, the entire Torah, and he took them to a village, and he sat with these kids, and he taught them each one book of the Torah until they knew them perfectly, so the kids themselves could teach others. At last, everyone understood how great was the deed of Rabbi Chia, that he made sure that the Torah would never be forgotten. And that's why he taught these kids. By his hard work and care in preparing the Torah, Rabbi Chia shows the importance of teaching and learning Torah.
So he made the Torah?
He wrote the Torah down, because that's our power.
It's not a she, it's a he.
Oh, no.
This shows us how important it is to teach and learn Torah. We have to teach others. Yes, Yaakov, but now we better be going. Our students will be waiting for us. Do you guys want one more comic? Or okay. These are a couple of mitzvot. These are mitzvot that you guys can do. When you believe in God, that is a mitzvah. That we believe that God.
Oh yeah, it's about this mitzvah.
It's a mitzvah to believe in Hashem. That Hashem makes everything, and Hashem is the source of everything. And in the olden days especially, they used to like to believe in other gods. So that was the mitzvah, that they shouldn't believe in other gods. Only Hashem. And how do we sing about Hashem being one? When you say Shema Yisrael, that is believing and acknowledging that the one who provides existence to all of creation is one.
I think we should do a mitzvah right now and say Shema all together.
All right.
Yeah, guys? You ready? So you take your right hand, and we're going to cover our eyes, and we're going to think that there's only one God, one Hashem.
What's your right hand again?
Your right hand.
Right hand up.
Right hand. Right. There you
No.
go. That's your right hand.
That's it, Benjamin. That's your right.
Now we're going to do Shema. Cover your eyes. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Awesome, guys. You just did a mitzvah. So the Rambam, now we started reading his book again, the Mishnah Torah. And what the first mitzvah is to believe in God, like we all do. So just by believing, we're doing the first mitzvah. And now we're going to learn a little parsha of the week through a video.
You just want to pick your table? Okay.
The parsha of this week, which is Parsha Matot, and we're going to watch it through a funny video. And
I picked the video already.
okay. Getting there.
All right. Video is coming up. Where are you, video? Where did you go? The video. I lost the video. Okay, let me do this. History. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna read the story first and then we'll get the video. There was once a great rabbi who had a dream one night. And in the dream, he got to see a most amazing sight. The rabbi got the chance to see what we'd all like to know. He found out where givers end up and where the selfish go. First, he was led into a room where selfish folk are taken. A great, big, gorgeous banquet hall. Said he, "Are you mistaken? If they're selfish, why do they go here?" The tables were set beautifully. Great food was piled up high. But wait, no one is eating. The rabbi wondered why. Why are these people starving? He got his answer soon. Strapped onto each of their arms, a 3-foot-long spoon.
They had a long spoon connected to their arms. 3-foot-long spoon. Can you imagine that?
So they couldn't even grab the food with their hands. So each one sat there hungry, food in front of each nose, but they could find no way to eat without bending their elbows. Then the rabbi was let out to the place where givers go. But it looked just like the other place where the selfish people were. Cried the rabbi, "No way, no." A great, big, gorgeous banquet hall, table set so beautifully, but here the people sitting down looked happy as could be. 3-foot spoons were also strapped on, and this hall, just like the other, place each arm out and reach them out of another. They were helping each other. So that's the difference. The first place, they had no concept of helping each other. So they were suffering. But in the second place, they were helping each other. So that is it, the rabbi laughed. So see, this is a treat. Here, nobody goes hungry. Here, each one gets to eat. They were so used to giving. Now, 1 minute ticked by before these souls had figured out how to help the other guy. And this banquet hall.
Why couldn't they just take the spoons off?
This is a place that there's these spoons.
The
idea.
This is a place for what?
Arm. It was like this. Like if you put like a long spoon around your arm and you can't bend your elbows. So then how you eat with the fork, you can't do it. You can't bend your elbows. So they had all these amazing food, but they couldn't really put it in the But in the
Why don't they just stand up and go like this?
They were selfish.
Let's place it.
And the other were thinking, "Oh, you know what? I can give you food and you can feed me." They had a concept of being there for one another. So it worked out very easily. Like, they can enjoy all the yummy treats.
And this banquet hall also, the elbows could not bend. But that would not stop them from reaching out to help a friend. But those other fellows in the other banquet hall, they're so used to being selfish, they can't think to give it all. Givers get used to giving, and selfish folk to taking. If they knew where they'd end up, they'd fix the mistake they're making. The rabbi told about his dream, because he felt it could help us to stretch ourselves to care. He found out where givers end up, and where the selfish go. The places aren't different, but the people make it so. And right here, right now in our lives, each day that we are living can really feel like heaven if we spend our days giving. Now, let's get to the video. That's
On,
good.
on the meantime, I ask you guys a trivia question. You might know, Jacob, because I just learned this. Which animal does not have any vocal cords?
Wait, what?
Which animal does not have any vocal cords?
Can't make any sounds.
No voice. They can't
Giraffe?
make sound. Who said that?
Me.
You got it, Matthew. I didn't know that. Friday night on our Shabbat table, we were playing a trivia game, and that was one of the questions. So I learned something new. I did not know that. Good job, Matthew.
I knew that.
Now we're gonna do the Parsha report video on this week's Parsha. Torah portion.
Rabbi. Thank you. Remember, kids, if you stayed up late playing video games and not preparing the intro for your weekly internet television show, it's always good to open with an old beloved catchphrase. Quiet, G-Fish, we're on the air. Anyways, welcome back to the Week in Review / Parsha Report / the Chikaduzi Show. This week is a very special show for us here because it marks our 42nd season. Yes, that's right, 42 wonderful years of the Chikaduzi Show.
What is
But
this?
before we show you some exciting and
Tell me about the
disgustingly old
Parsha.
clips from our first season, let's talk about the Torah portion. This week, in Parshat Maseh, the Torah gives us a detailed list of the 42 journeys that the Jews made in the desert throughout the 40 years from the Exodus until they entered Israel. Our writers slaved day and night coming up with a fantastic idea for how to present this Torah portion.
42 journeys they took from when they left Egypt until they got to Israel. You know how many years were they in the desert?
How?
How long were they in the desert until they got
40 years.
Good job, Matthew. 40 years. And in those 40 years, they had 42 journeys. They needed to stop in one spot, sometimes for one day. In another spot, they could stop for like a year. So it's telling you about those journeys. This is the Parashah Matot Maseh that's speaking about all the journeys that Bnei Israel did while getting to Israel.
But unfortunately, they came up with nothing. So, for lack of anything interesting, let's go to Rabbi Kaduzzi, who'll be reading that list verse by verse from the Torah. Rabbi, the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses and camped in Sukkoth. They journeyed from Sukkoth and camped in Etham, at the edge of the desert. They journeyed from Etham and camped in Pi HaHiroth, which faces Baal Zephon. Wow, that was not our best work. Now, let's take a look at how we tackled this Torah portion 42 years ago in our first season ever.
They journeyed from Elim and camped in the Red Sea. They journeyed from the Red Sea and camped in the desert of Sin. They journeyed from the desert of Sin and camped in Tafka. They journeyed.
Thanks, Rabbi. That was great. Now let's go to Roy in the Parsha plane, who will continue reading that list whilst making a non-stop flight from New York to Paris.
Roy, in just a few minutes, I'm going to ask you to lock that stuff back up in the vault and make sure that the climate control is set to encourage speedy decay of that film. But first, let's let old-timey cartoon Itcha wrap things up with his 15 seconds of fame. Classic Kaduzzi, you're on.
The 42 journeys from Egypt can teach us that we too must always be traveling from our own Egypt, freeing ourselves from our own obstacles, constantly breaking out of our own limitations and pushing to do that one more mitzvah. And now it's time for our weekly bomb shelter drill. Duck and cover, kids.
Well, that's almost all the time we have for now. But let's top things off with one more clip from our web debut in 1993. Animated GIF Jono, take us home.
The only reason I didn't
There's
like
10 seconds left.
the only reason I didn't like this is because it's puppets.
This is puppet.
Mm.
So the 42 journeys that, every time we learn Parsha, it's not just an old story. There's a lesson for us to learn every single week. So the lesson for this week is that we all have different journeys, different things that we need to do in our lives, and we need to get out of Egypt. Egypt, it's Mitzrayim, means metzarim, which means limitations, like things that don't feel good, or we have bad habits, like, oh, I wish I would wake up earlier, or I wish I didn't speak bad about this person. We all have things that we can work on, and this parsha is teaching us and giving us the power to do that, to work on ourselves and get to Eretz Israel.
Holy Land.
That's right.
Thank you, guys.
And if anybody has any questions for the rabbi, any questions, go for it. Take off.
It's over already?
Matthew wants more.
Bye.
Another question. Jacob.
Bye.
You guys want one more story?
Should we do another story? Yeah, I think.
Wait, could we see the one, like the video, like when the video said like the Torah should be placed on me, but like, I like that.
Which video?
Which
Wait,
one?
the mountain one?
Yeah.
Was that with the puppets? It was also with a puppet?
No, it was with the mountain.
It was a comic or a video?
It's a video about
It was with the mountains, and the tiny mountain got the Torah.
I don't remember
Yeah.
watching that video.
Let's maybe go to.
They were all fighting for the Torah, to which mountain gets it, and then the tiny mountain got it.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
I mean, that was I find on Shavuot, right? That's when we got the Torah. Let's see if we find it. We have a special request. Let's see. Was it Jonah's Little Mountain?
It was one with mountains.
Was it puppets though, or cartoon?
I think it was that one.
It was like clay puppets.
This one?
Yes.
Or what was it?
But it didn't have basketball.
Was this one?
It was mountain.
It was pop. It was like I think that it was like kind of, it was sort of puppets, but they were mountains. Yeah, and they were fighting over the Torah, like who's gonna get the Torah? Who should the Torah be raised? Which mountain should the Torah be raised?
I don't know if I can find that video. We could watch this one.
Let's see. We can watch and
I
see.
think it was the one under that.
So not this one.
No.
That one. There was like a red mountain, there was like a yellow.
Yeah, I think it's that one.
This one?
Torah one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one, yeah, it's that one.
Not this one.
Yep.
Just search up mountains. Mountains, who you think it is? What the hell is this? Oh, some astronaut stuff.
Jacob, who's that next to you?
Hey, Dina, instead of the desert, the Torah was given on the moon. Do little brothers always think about space? No. Sometimes they think about robots. Torah was given on the moon. I guess we'd have to eat freeze-dried space challah on Shabbat. Yeah, and I could build a giant robotic arm to give to tzedakah. But where would we put our mezuzahs? Ooh, what if the Torah was given in the Arctic? Then we could put a mezuzah on the door of our igloo. And during the week, we could ice skate to synagogue. I'm cold. Then what if the Torah was given on a warm tropical island? We'd have to make sure to put those little umbrellas in our kiddish cup. And I would wear a coconut shell kippah. Yeah. So then why was the Torah given in the middle of nowhere anyways? There's nothing here. I think this way, nobody can say the Torah belongs to any particular place. You can be Jewish anywhere. Good idea, Dina. I'm gonna go be Jewish on the International Space Station. See ya.
I don't think it was that one, but that was a
We'll
good
try
one.
to look for it next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Have a-
When